so much for joining me today. Today's archetypal lesson will be on the stone. Now, I believe this is an earth sign energy, so that is going to be Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus coming out. The stone is the eternal, the anchor, and the rock. As an archetypal object, the stone holds psychic and literal weight. Its energy is one of the permanence, concreteness, and reliability. The stone's ability to transform is nearly imperceptible to us, as it changes ever so slowly over countless human lifespans. A single stone may see thousands of generations come and go, therefore it contains an ancient and eternal presence. The stone is best used to anchor our wild side, so no matter how far we roam, we can always find our way back. The stone tethers us to the earth, helping to ground and connect us to stillness, quiet, and peace. When this card appears, it is likely that the stone is a remedy for what ails us. Humble and easily unnoticed, the power of the stone balances the frenzy of our world. When upright, this is steadfast, loyal, committed, and present. Wow, this card actually reminds me, I know this is so funny, when I was in California, I hiked, it was one of the mountains, I think in San Diego. It was like San Diego's highest peak. And I took a bunch of pictures with a lot of the like stone towers, like the rock towers there that are meant to guide hikers and travelers. And it was absolutely beautiful. It was something that I had never seen before, but I thought was magnificent to look at. So I took a bunch of pictures with them and I really enjoyed that. But yeah, let's go ahead and continue. I want to go ahead and grab an angel number to start. We have 843 coming out. 843 is going to be your angel number for today. Looks like we have Jupiter being highlighted here. So that's all about fortune and luck coming out. As well as, ooh, Aries energy. Wow, this is fresh. I always regard Aries as like my new beginning energy. This is like my fresh perspective energy. Okay, so I think you're looking to get grounded about something, to have a fresh perspective, maybe even ground yourself to look at it from a different perspective without the emotional aspect of it. Okay, let's actually go out, start with my chakra oracle deck here. What do we need to know for the Stone Collective, please, Spirit? What can we learn about today? Oh, we have impatience. We have impatience coming out. Yeah, I feel like you might be unhappy with the fact that things are taking a lot longer than you expected them to. But like the stone highlights how it sees thousands of generations come and go. Oh, what am I hearing? It's you can't press water from a stone. Interesting. I actually want to read from the book about patience. Well, impatience, I guess, actually. Ooh, let me fold my book back. If I don't take care of it, it'll never happen. Eaton grows impatient waiting for dawn, so he buys a used moon. Once it is in the sky, he steps back to see his handiwork. The moon will not stay in place unless he holds the cord. Sky God assures him that dawn will come when he lets go, but Eaton is fearful and grips onto the cord when he falls asleep, and releases it. When he awakens, dawn has come, and the radiant light in the sky is blocked only by his used moon. That's so funny. Alrighty, the key words here are scarcity thinking, being exhausted by your efforts, success through practice, unfolding, revelation, and success. Okay, beautiful. Yeah. I like this part. If I don't take care of it, it will never happen. I used to have a boss. His name was Rob. He was awesome. He was an amazing boss. And his whole family was so sweet. I absolutely adored them. But Rob told me this quote one time. He said, if you plan for nothing, nothing will happen. And it was one of those parable type quotes where it comes off very, very simple. And at first I was just like, oh, like that's all that he means is like, you know, if I don't plan for it, nothing's going to happen. But one night I got really, really introspective on it. And I thought about it pretty deeply. And I thought about, more or less the concept of how when I choose to not do anything, nothing happens on my behalf. And so I do have to plan, and I do have to be structured, even with things that I don't want to do. And a good example of this is like if I get a ticket, right? And I don't plan anything, which means I don't plan to go to court, and I don't plan to pay the ticket, and I don't plan to deal with it. I just ignore it, and I just pretend it didn't happen, and I do nothing. Nothing happens on my behalf. But that doesn't mean that nothing happens to the ticket that I receive. That doesn't mean that nothing happens during the court session that I did not attend. Okay? So in the end, at the end, my lack of doing anything, my nothingness did not lead to nothing happening. It actually led to me getting points on my license, me losing my license, me having a warrant out for my arrest because I didn't attend a court date. And it goes on and on and on. So there is this notion within impatience where it's not just about being impatient and that scarcity thinking, it's also about being strategic and structured and planning and preparing, being ready to take on what's next. Interesting. Let's go ahead and grab from my animal spirit deck just to get a little bit more information. What does my stone collective need to know, please, Spirit? Oh, we have the vulture. Okay, wow, I actually really do love my vulture energy. That's an air sign energy, so it's going to be Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. Oh, give me one moment. So now vultures are, I believe this is the scavenger animal. They're so necessary for our ecosystem. And honestly, I love vultures. Let me go ahead and pull up from the book before I start rambling and yapping. Alrighty, so the vulture, guardian of and purifier, essential for rebalance. The vulture is perhaps the most misunderstood creature of all. This intriguing bird balances our ecosystem and prevents the spread of disease. It does the dirty work that no one else wants to do and cleans up our messes. The vulture appears when there's a situation that needs to be purified or brought back into balance. Remember, the vulture is greatly undervalued. What you thought was a mistake or a tragedy is a blessing in disguise. With the vulture, now they clarify, they reveal wisdom. When they're out of balance, they're dramatic and aggressive. To bring this into balance, you need to clean your space or sage. Now, if you are not Native American, I do not recommend saging if you're not initiated into that ritualistic practice. I would recommend a lavender incense to cleanse your space because lavender is open practice, whereas sage is not open practice. It is a closed practice. Alrighty. Yeah, so with this vulture being here, there might be a need, and I don't think it's just about purifying and cleansing your external space. I think this is more about your mind. I think that this is more about like a lack of discipline, a lack of structure, a lack of seeing the necessity in taking action. This reading feels very much like a grounded call to action. It's almost as if you are stepping out of your comfort zone to prepare yourself for something much, much bigger. And what I mean by that is it's almost like, how do I explain this? I think you're going to start small with it. I do. I think you're going to start small, quite like the vulture and mice. You know, you're going to start with the mice before you move on to the buffalo or, you know, the elk that's rotting in the land. With this vulture energy, it very much gives me the sense of like starting small. Like you might start to see the benefit in making your bed every single day, how that, you know, gives you a small victory every single morning, and then that builds and allows you structure and discipline, and it causes you to care about yourself a little bit more, care about the state of your bedroom, the state of your bed. And that will lead way into like washing your sheets every single week or every 2 weeks, and then washing your pillowcases, and then making sure that you get a new comforter every 4 months to match with the seasons. So this way we have this like cyclical, this routine, this discipline that's going on that ultimately helps you. Because again, if you plan for nothing, nothing will happen. And just using like your bed as an example, because you've done nothing, now stains are piling up inside of your bed. Now you've got skin cells piling up in your bed. Maybe you eat in your bed and you've got food piling up in your bed. Now you've got bed bugs in your bed, or you've got mites in your bed, or everything under your bed is piling up and overflowing and falling out, spilling out onto your floor. So there seems to be this real energy of things snowballing into the next set, and that's causing you misery or unhappiness, and you're sitting here wondering, like, well, why can't things go my way? Why can't they go my way? And the truth of the matter is because you aren't paying enough attention to take care of things before they get ruined. So there's this need to ground yourself and think, okay, what can I do to prepare myself for the next step so that way nothing can snowball? Interesting. Let's go ahead and move on with this deck. Get some more information. Ooh. Okay, that was very rude, Spirit. We have 2 here. Yeah, we have learning and karma. And karma, I want to specify here that it's more about, like, it's not so much as what goes around comes around. But I feel like karma in this specific context is it's almost like the natural consequence of what is going to happen if you choose to do something, right? Like if I choose to skip a step when I run down the stairs, then the natural consequence is that I fall down the stairs, you know? And maybe that choice was an unconscious one, but it was still my choice at the end of the day. And so there is this sense, I don't want to call it karma, because I feel like what you're learning is to look at things from this almost big picture energy, this big picture view, where you're observing how life naturally becomes like one after another. It's consequentialism. You're learning basic consequentialism, and I actually really love that for you. This is something that I've taught a lot of people in the spiritual zone, and it is something that I have found that whether or not you are spiritual or you are just a regular, person who has no interest in this stuff, it works regardless, because there is a natural order to the way that life works. It's that one thing happens after another, and one thing triggers the next thing. It's the domino effect, it's consequentialism, etc., etc. And I love that for this. I'm actually super excited for this reading now. So I want to go ahead and start off with my situations deck. Okay, perfect. Yes, my situations deck. Yeah, okay, beautiful. We have realizing, awareness, finding out, and coming to light. We have escapade, vacation, hideaway, and adventure. Let's get just one more. Okay, I guess we're getting 2 more. We're getting threatened, embarrassed in appearances, and we're getting projected, future days to weeks to months. Okay. And let me get one more. And I actually want to pull from my theme deck here. Just one, please, Spirit. Just one. We've got talent coming out. Yeah, okay. Okay, I see where this is going. Beautiful. Beautiful, actually. So yes, I see you learning this actually through one of your talents. Like, and I think a good way to explain this is like if I do tarot for 12 hours straight every single day for a week, the natural consequence is that at the end of the week, I am not going to have a voice, right? Like my voice is going to absolutely die out. So what can I do to prepare myself so that way I'm not doing that? Well, I've gone ahead and I've structured my readings. So I know exactly how many reads I'm doing every single night. I know what days I'm doing those reads on, and I've given myself a time frame to get those reads done within. On top of that, I have gone ahead and scheduled actual breaks, not only between my readings, but whole day breaks as well. So I can give my voice time to rest, and I can give my whole body, that self-care that it needs to relax and not be drained from doing readings day in and day out. I feel like this is going to be something that you start to apply and into your life on a regular basis, is like the act of considering the consequences. Now, consequence, I want to break that down, because consequence is not negative, okay? I feel like it gets such a bad rap, it gets such a bad connotation to it. But a consequence, the root word for it is just the result or the outcome of an action, thought, or concept, an action, thought, or concept. And with this, it's kind of giving me the sense of like, okay, well, if I do A, then B is going to happen directly after. And I want you to think about this in the concept of stable versus unstable energy, right? Where it's like, if I choose to scream at my brother, right, the natural consequence of that is he might scream back, right? And then we fight. And then one of us gets kicked out because we're fighting all the time. And because neither of us have the coping skills to manage the aggression between us. Versus the other consequence of, like, I could just communicate to him that there is this issue, and then it can go either, he screams at me for communicating it normally, or he listens and we communicate the issue, and then we move on from there. And then nobody gets kicked out because we were able to figure out how to cope with the issue between us. And so I do see you thinking about things more from this light of, like, number one, what is the natural expectation if I do this, right? What is the natural expectation of what's to come? How does this snowball if I choose to do this? Then there's the secondary of, like, unstable and stable energy of, like, okay, well, screaming at my brother, that's pretty unstable because I am not regulating my emotions. I am not controlling my emotions. I'm projecting them out at him and I'm lashing out at him. So of course he's going to have that defensive reaction back. That's the natural consequence of me acting from an unstable space, is that he reacts from an unstable space as well. Now, if I react from a stable position, then regardless of how he acts, right? If I'm able to communicate it, even if he screams at me, I'm not going to result in the screaming. I'm just going to kind of turn back and go, okay, I'm good, I'm done. So because I'm coming from that stable space, I'm coming from that place of of regulated emotions where I came prepared with an outcome and a result in mind, and even if I don't get it, I am still okay. So I do feel as if this might be a natural talent of yours. Like, I feel like once you get into doing this, it's going to snowball very quickly into you being very strong with this. This is going to be a very good skill for you to maintain. And honestly, I think it might help you to escape some of the consequences some of the negative consequences that you have been dealing with, because now you'll know to, like, plan and prepare for them, and to how to regulate yourself to deal with whatever comes next, whatever the consequence might be, whatever the result or outcome of it might be. So it might actually be an escape from what you're perceiving is karma, but it's not actually this karmic energy. It's just this, like him, like he was unstable, right? He had this unstable, like, fear, this scarcity mindset, which is instability. And that caused him to block out his own sun. That was the natural consequence of him doing this. Okay. I feel like your angels are leading you through this. It's this fresh perspective. God, I love this. Let's go ahead and get into the tarot. Alrighty, I want to use this tarot deck. What does my Stone Collective need to know? How can we go deeper into this? We have my 8 of Wands. Okay, you might be expecting a message. Maybe you're expecting... Oh, you might be expecting something, and you're not sure how to go about it yet. Or maybe that's what this is teaching you. It's teaching you how to be expectant rather than impulsive. Rather than just reacting, you're learning how to receive and then process and then answer. I wouldn't even say answer. It's more like, instead of reacting, you're learning how to resolve. We have the 6 of Cups. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I think what you're resolving here is this immaturity that you've dealt with in the past, where it's like this childish energy. It's this fresh perspective. Like, how when a child, how when they get scared, like if I go like, bah, to a kid out of nowhere, they'll go like, ah, they have that immediate, like, terrified reaction. And then usually they start giggling because after a moment they recognize that it was really nothing to be scared of. And that's kind of what I feel like Spirit has been doing in your life recently, is like they've been sending you this bah, and making you go, ah, and then that little giggle afterwards where you're like, wow, this was actually not that big of a deal. This actually wasn't that scary. I just didn't give myself the moment to receive what was happening before I reacted to it, So instead, my whole central nervous system got discombobulated and dysregulated. Ooh, my Page of Swords. Yeah, there's this beginner energy. So my Page of Swords, number one, is a beginner. But more importantly than that, the swords are about strategy. They're about analysis because they're an air sign. So they tend to be a leader. They tend to be planners. And when I see this in reverse, it's almost like this immaturity of taking things as they are, as they come. It's this hopscotch energy of like jumping from one desperate corner to another, to another, to another. You're constantly just trying to jump to the next step instead of stopping and going like, okay, well, you know, I need to go like from 1 to 2 to 1 to 2. Instead, you're just like, and you're all over the board instead. It's this like terror energy that you've been living in. And I feel that Spirit is trying to peel back the layers of that to try to teach you to ground yourself in this energy rather than jumping in terror. Let's go ahead, let's get some more. Yeah, my 7 of Pentacles. Beautiful. And then followed by Justice. Let me get one more and then I will let my cat in because she's screaming. And my 6 of Swords in reverse. Yep, we have my Death card at the back of the deck. And then we have the Devil in the middle. Alrighty. Thank you for your patience. So with my 7 of Pentacles being here, in another deck that I have, it shows a young woman who's waiting underneath a tree that has apples about to fall down. And she's waiting with her basket and her dog to collect them. Because the 7 of Pentacles is heavily about harvesting what you have sown, which leads directly into consequentialism. Like if I plant an apple seed, I can absolutely expect an apple tree to grow as long as I water it and I fertilize it and I give it enough sun and I give it enough attention and I trim off, you know, the bad branches or the molds, or I take care of the pests that get into the wood. Whenever I plant the seed and then I take care of it and I nurture it and I see it to the next step. Now, if I just plant the seed and then I do nothing, there's like a 50% chance that that does not grow. I actually don't know, like the percentage of how an apple tree might grow, but just as an example here, like there is a good chance that nothing will grow because I didn't take care of it. Or even worse, if I didn't plan for it, right? And let's say that I plant that apple tree in the desert, do you think it's gonna grow? Versus if I plant that apple tree in like Michigan, like a nice, you know, nutrient full rich soil. Yeah, there's this massive difference between like planning for it and preparing for it and then nurturing it to see it come to its fruition, to its result, to its outcome, to its consequence, versus just kind of, I'm hearing winging it, like just winging it, just hoping it works out, living on a prayer here. And I feel like that's what you've been doing. But I don't think this is your fault. Please don't take this in a cruel way. I think that this is actually something that you were taught to do. I think that this is something that you witnessed growing up. Every single adult in your life just kind of had to roll with the punches. They had to jump from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, because that's how they had allowed their life to be. And now this is something that, you know, I grew up with as well. I had a parent who, it's a little bit different. They loved drama, right? They were a sucker for drama. And as a result, they were a huge magnet for drama because they were so used to it that they would like soak in all the drama that they could. And if they had missed a drama for even a single moment, then they would make it up in their own mind. And that's kind of the energy that I'm picking up on here. Is like, it's almost as if even if Spirit isn't sending you this energy, you're still in terror because you're so used to it. You're so used to having to like reach and grasp and cling to the next best thing that you're not actually giving yourself a moment to think like, oh, is this the next best thing though? Like if I grab this thorn, is it gonna poke me? But instead of stopping and thinking about it, I feel like everyone around you has always just grabbed it because it was there and they could. And I feel like this is where this justice energy is starting to come in. You're going to balance out these scales here. You're starting to learn exactly what is an injustice to do to yourself. Like it would be an injustice for me to get a ticket and then not attend the court date and not fight for my own freedom and then, you know, end up with this huge ticket and a warrant and points on my license and then losing my license, etc., etc., etc. I think you're starting to recognize like the natural consequences of things, and you're starting to even it out by planning, by preparing. Yeah, I feel like it was an injustice as well for you to grow up with people around like that are like that. There's this quote from the Bible. It says, I know I'm mentioning the Bible again, but it says, if you save a fool, you will have to save him again. And it is a parable, but the point of the parable is that oftentimes people do not learn from their mistakes. And I feel as if Spirit is bringing you to this point of, it is that threatened energy that we were picking up on. It's that karmic and threatened energy. It's almost like Spirit is bringing you to like a pitfall where you have to learn this, where I'm hearing the writing is on the wall. Yeah. I'm seeing, this is so funny, I'm seeing in Skyrim, there are these caves in the video game Skyrim, right? And you like go through these caves and like fight these like skeletons and these draugrs and whatnot, but there are these puzzles within the caves. And the answer, and it's like you have to answer the puzzle. You have to turn these stones on the wall in order to open up the gate to get to the next part of the cave. And usually the next part of the cave has like a dragon word in it and then like a huge loot in it. And so what I'm seeing is like on the wall is the answer to the puzzle, right? And that's kind of, and you have to organize them correctly in the right, on like the turning stones, you have to organize them correctly to get the gate to open. And that's kind of what I'm seeing you doing right now, is you're just kind of tinkering with the energy around you of like, okay, if I do this, then this will happen. And I feel almost as if Spirit has kind of pushed you into this space where you're like a child, like with this Aries energy, that fresh perspective. You're like a child with it, where you're learning like, okay, if I put my hand on the stove, it'll burn me, right? And if I do nothing in this situation, it'll burn me. Alrighty. Yeah, there's this devil energy. This could be with addiction or codependence of some form, where it's like, oh, well, if I smoke a cigarette, then I need another one. That's the natural consequence, because now I need nicotine. Now I've introduced nicotine as an addictive substance. Or if I have one drink, now I need another. That's my natural pattern, right? And so, and I don't think it's just like that's how the entire world works. I think you're learning how it works for you versus how it's worked for other people. And I think using people from your childhood, looking at their behaviors might help you analyze it a little bit more and get a deeper perspective. Yeah, because I don't think that you're willing to commit to this anymore. I don't think that you're willing to commit to this fear, to this terror, this anxiety. Now, I don't see this being a very fast changing energy. This is going to be a slow process, so don't try to rush through it. Spirit is asking you to simmer down, to cool off, to relax a little bit, to like take a moment to receive, process, analyze, and then resolve. Yeah, because there's something here that desperately needs to be healed, but it can't be healed quickly. You're going to have to stay stuck in this energy for a hot second in order for you to truly understand it. I'm seeing someone like sitting in like a bog, like knee deep in a bog, and they're just like, they're literally just sitting there. They're seeing the life around them, like the tadpoles swimming around, the frogs jumping, the lily pads moving because of the tadpoles and the frogs and the fish and the birds, and then the herons getting in there and stirring the waters. And I'm seeing this person inside of the water just watching the natural consequence of what happens when things are introduced or when these actions are taken. And so I feel like you're watching the people around you and what they're going to do next. I'm hearing what they're going to do next. You're looking at what's next. Oh, that's beautiful. There's a very beautiful predictive energy here. Alrighty, I actually want to go ahead and get into some advice here. Alrighty, I'm going to start this off with a channeled song. I don't want to do that. Just give me one. Just one. Ah. Aha, we have Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson, which is about moving on. Yeah, I feel like you're moving on from this phase of your life where you're like constantly living in terror, or you're like constantly grasping for the next thing. You're constantly jumping to the next stage by accident without looking, I'm hearing. Yeah, because I'm seeing like a fire walk, right? And I'm seeing someone like, oh my gosh, it's Michael Scott. I'm seeing Michael Scott from The Office when they do the fire walk at the like work retreat, where he's like, he shuts his eyes and he's just like, ah, and he like runs through it terrified. Yeah, like that's what you've been doing. And I see you are so tired from doing this over and over and over again, and that terror has exhausted you. And I don't think you're the only person who's doing this. I think that this is something that is intergenerational, that you learned from the people around you. Sorry. I'm so moving on. Yeah, you had your chance, you blew it. I get what I want. And I think that this is kind of, I think that you might have been working on this for a while. This might be an energy that you've been stuck in, where you've been learning like step by step by step. I've seen like a ladder, like you've been going up the ladder of this, and you've been learning just how deep it goes. And I feel like maybe you even try to teach some people around you to help them get out of this energy. But you're recognizing that like they just don't have the consciousness for it. They don't have the awareness to change. I think they're too stuck in this fearful feelings. Yeah, it might be parents. It might be parents that you've been like, hey, have you ever thought maybe not to do that? Like, have you ever thought that, oh, I'm hearing, there are also a lot of TV references for this pile. A lot of TV references for this pile. Because I'm seeing, it's from that one chess show. Like, The Queen's Gambit, right? Where the main character, the ginger, is like on the plane, or no, she's having dinner with her mom. And her mom coughs. And she goes, do you ever think it's the liquor that is making you cough, that's causing the sickness? And her mom said something like, oh, like, she said something that relates to how she's addicted to it, where she's like, oh, like, I've been dating it for too long, or something like that. I'm seeing something with a parent. So we have daddy issues by the neighborhood, which is about parental. Oh, and then we have reflection being highlighted under that. Reflection, nostalgia with You Were Right by Man Gordon. I'm going to take that, actually, and we'll get into that in a second. But with daddy issues being here, on the back it says, I know that you got daddy issues. Where did my daddy go? You know what your mama went through. And actually, that is what happened in the Queen's Gambit. Is like the dad left and like abandoned both of them. And she saw what her mom was going through, and she decided to like, she took the reins and decided to like fix their financial state by entering into these chess competitions. But by entering into these chess competitions and giving the family, like her and her mom, money to be able to survive, her mom spent more and more money on cigarettes and liquor and on pills until it killed her. It eventually did kill her. And then we also have You Were Right by Madden Gordon, which is all about reflection and nostalgia. I feel like you're looking back at like your childhood and you're like, wow, like everyone around me is so unconscious of how their actions equal, this chaos that they've been living in, that they've been creating, that I'm surrounded by. It says, God knows I'm trying to live up to your expectation. You were right. I don't have much except the memory of you. Yeah. Maybe you're even like struggling to remember your childhood because it's been so chaotic. I'm going to put those to the side, but they'll be linked down in the description below. Alrighty, sorry, I did tangent on that for a hot second. Let's go ahead and get some zodiac signs. So we had earth signs, that's going to be Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. Then we had beautiful Aries energy here. And I believe didn't we have the vulture? So that's going to be, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius with the vulture. So let's go ahead and get some more zodiac signs, maybe even a time frame. We have Leo being highlighted. So maybe August or July, like late July, early August. Can I get another one, please, Spirit? Oh, we have the moon in Capricorn coming out again. This has been coming out a lot in my readings. So maybe you started learning this in December or early January. Moon in Capricorn says, put aside emotional concerns and focus on achieving or increasing financial security. And I kind of just want to cut out financial, because I feel like what you're doing is you're learning how to increase the security that you feel in your day-to-day life. I feel like you're learning to prioritize correctly. Oh my gosh, oh, my throat chakra started getting all messed up. Ugh. Oh, that's really weird. Let's get some self-care for this pile. I have number 49, spending time with friends. And I don't even think it's just friends. I feel like it's almost like like-minded people, like people who understand what you're learning currently. I feel like maybe you might need to even reach out to like a mentor, like someone who does like event planning or some form of like structured work. I think that would really help you. Okay, and then we have connect with the earth coming out. Yeah. Maybe when you get frustrated or when you need, I feel like when you are at that point where you want to act impulsively, maybe just removing yourself from a situation and going for a walk, giving yourself some time to, again, like receive, process, and resolve. Yep, we've got intuition, number 28 on the back of the deck here. Alrighty. I actually want to get a message from your guides. Let's get a message from your guides here. Just one or two, please. Yeah, be your own guide. I feel like you can't trust the people around you. And I don't mean that in like a mean way. Wow, my light just kind of blinked when I said that. I don't mean that in a mean way where it's like they're untrustworthy. I just don't think that they can understand what you're going through or what you're learning. I said that already. Like they don't have the consciousness, the awareness to recognize what you're trying to do. Just like with the Queen's Gambit. Like that daughter was telling her mom, like, hey, maybe it's the alcohol that's like causing you to cough and be sick all the time. And the mom was like, oh, like she didn't have the consciousness to understand where her daughter was coming from. And instead she just made a joke about it and moved on. It's weird because as I'm saying that, my light, so this light, right, this one right here, blinked. And then right after I said that, the light above me, my like big light for my room, it's like tinking. It's so out of nowhere. That was really, really strange. Yeah, I feel like Spirit's trying to get your attention here. They're trying to get you to recognize that like the people around you don't have the same capacity that you do. But you have to learn this first. You have to learn that like think that this one step at a time and that each step leads into the next one. Let's get one more. Manifest your wishes. No, it's this. It's this that this is, yeah, absolutely manifest your wishes. But I feel like the universe is speaking. Listen with all your heart. Yeah, the universe is trying to teach you a big lesson here. I actually kind of want to put this. How do I want to do this? Because I like this color match. Yeah, it's actually a very, very beautiful energy here. Yeah, I feel like you're a student right now, and there's just this gorgeous energy surrounding you. Very, very enlightening. What else do I want to get? Yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and move into the charms here. If you're noise sensitive, now would be a good time to turn down your volume, as this can get a little bit loud. Yeah, I'm good. Okay, that's good. Okay, we are. Okay. I'm actually going to pop this here. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm excited. Alrighty, so I'm going to start off with my charms here. We have my frog charm. So this is, you guys are definitely my collective. Welcome, hello, thank you guys. I missed you. So with my frog being here, my frog is a big reminder that you are not meant to carry a heavy burden. This is a reminder to put down things that no longer serve you and to jump onto the next level, to the next phase. Lighten your load so you can jump to the next lily pad. You might be expecting a call here. You might be receiving an important call here. I think I was picking up on that somewhere with my 8 of Wands, where it's like you're expecting a message from someone. Alrighty, and then we have, this is one of my, my step up, sorry, this is like my promise ring for the next step, for the next level. It's all about like literally this like ladder type of energy where it's building up to the next step. That's why it's so high. So I do see you like climbing this mountain to the peak. We have the, I believe this is the hand of Fatima coming out here. I have my 4 of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, I don't think you value this lesson very much. I think you're looking at the situation, you're like, I don't want to go through this, and you're frustrated, and you don't understand why you're going through it. But the entire point is to prepare you. Because there's so much, like, I don't think you understand. You're at the very beginning of a journey, and you need to learn this before you can do anything else. It's kind of like in Minecraft, where it's like you have to make, like a shovel or an axe before you can do anything else, before you can really make anything. Then we have Hello Sunshine. Yeah, I feel like you will complete this, or maybe, yeah, I feel like something will come to fruition in the summer here. Maybe late July, early August. Maybe you'll be meeting someone for coffee or for tea to talk about this situation, to get that mentorship here, someone that's like-minded to you. They might be a Virgo, because we have highlighted a lot of earth sign energy, so Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. So they might be a Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus. You might have mid-length hair, or someone in that situation has mid-length hair. This says the unknown is where all outcomes are possible. Enter it with grace. And it's the outcomes. We've been talking about this the whole reading. It's all about outcomes. You're looking for the result of something. You're looking for the natural consequence of a situation so that you can turn it in your favor. Because once you remove that part, right? Now you know what the outcome is, and you can enter it however you want. Then we have, it looks like N for initials. So Nancy, Nathan, Nate, Naya, Nala. I can't think of any other N names, really? Nessie? Okay. And then I have K, so Caitlin, Kyle, Kevin, Kayla, Kane, alrighty. Sorry, that's all that I can think of for K. I'm trying to get better at them, but, you know, it's a work in progress. I gotta keep practicing it until I can get it going. Alrighty, so that's what I'm seeing for you today. Let me know down in the comments how this resonated for you. Let me know what your angel message was, because I love seeing all the different messages that we get from these angel numbers. So I believe it was 847 for your reading. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for joining. Bye!